lose the hospital, you kill the town.
Worries tonight about how proposed Medicaid cuts could impact local hospitals.
Rain returns to the forecast tomorrow for much of the inland northwest, with scattered showers sticking around through the weekend.
Plus, Brian Kohberger back in court today. We are digging deeper into new documents about what the defense calls alternate suspects. New in the last 3 hours, brand new documents have just been filed in the Moscow murders case. Court documents say a recent Dateline special about the case included information that was not yet publicly available. So the judge in the case is now trying to figure out where that leak came from. He has ordered the state and the defense to share with every person who had access to those court records. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Brian Kohberger was also back in court in Ada County today for a pretrial hearing. Here are the key takeaways from that hearing in Boise this morning. The court has previously set the trial date for August. During the hearing today, the court made no indication of changing that at this point. The judge also told attorneys he intends to use a total of 20 jurors, 8 of which will be alternates. The judge also said if a victim requests it, their face will not be shown during the broadcast. We also learned in this morning's hearing, Cobergers' defense plans to introduce evidence that someone else is the killer. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has more to this story tonight after getting insight on the development from a former Idaho Attorney General. She is joining us live in the studio tonight with the latest. Amanda?
Evidence of an alternate suspect is something Brian Kohberger's defense attorneys have mentioned on and off for months now. Right now, they're preparing to present this information at a hearing in June. Now, the judge asked the defense for 2 things. He wants to see evidence supporting these allegations and why it should be admissible. The judge called much of what they've submitted as objectionable. The defense has 1 week to provide the court with the requested information. After the state responds, the evidence will be discussed in a hearing on June 18th. Former Idaho Attorney General David Leroy believes addressing this now is a step the judge is likely taking to avoid a delay in the trial.
Well, the judge is requiring this activity and putting a deadline on it so that he and the rest of the world can be assured that there won't be any delay in the trial. He's not going to allow speculation about speculation. If this evidence is teed up, ready to go and admissible, we'll know that well before jury selection. And if it's not, it won't be a factor in the trial.
If the evidence is admissible and there is some persuasive value, the judge won't stop it from being presented at trial. Now, Leroy says in this case, it comes down to having specific evidence that somebody else was in or around the premises at the critical time, something he says hasn't been brought forward just yet. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. And you can watch the latest developments in the Moscow murders case right now on our streaming app, KREM 2+. You'll also watch our special on this tragedy for the University of Idaho community. Just download on your TV and watch for free. All right, let's talk weather now. We had a mostly dry day today, but don't get used to it. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo is outside, and he says the rain is going to return. Jeremy?
Oh, it's imminent at this point. We're tracking it, already moving its way in. So let's talk about it. 60 degrees where we currently sit. Mix of clouds and sun. We're going to call it more cloudy than sunny. So we'll say mostly cloudy, partly sunny, however you want to break it down. I really don't know the difference between those two, if I'm honest. That's my meteorological confession of the day. Clouds are going to take over, and then we're looking at, oh, look at that. A couple of showers popping up on the radar here in just the past scan. That's interesting. I think those are probably happening as we get some of that moisture teeming in ahead of our frontal boundary. There is the frontal boundary. You can trace it right there. Storm sits all the way up in the Gulf of Alaska, so we're pretty detached from it. But in our atmospheric trough, we have a decent shot of squeezing out some of that moisture. Right now, all of that's up in the mountains. Tomorrow morning, we might see some here in eastern Washington and the lower elevations of North Idaho, but by tomorrow afternoon, it turns into another round of scattered showers. As we move from Friday into Saturday, it looks like more scattered showers are possible, but we'll hold out on those until Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Then as we move from Saturday into Sunday, Idaho just gets hit with another pretty whopping round of rain and maybe even a little snow up high. For us, It's another round of scattered showers. 56 degrees with rain tomorrow morning, 63 with the chance of a rumble of thunder Saturday afternoon, and Sunday's still a little bit up in there. We'll talk that in the full forecast.
All right, Jeremy, we'll talk to you then. Thank you very much. Tonight, we are hearing dire warnings from Washington's Hospital Association. They are worried the billions of dollars in cuts to Medicaid proposed in President Trump's budget are going to decimate hospitals, especially small ones in rural areas. KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy shows us tonight.
Washington's hospital leaders are declaring an emergency as Congress contemplates billions of dollars in Medicaid reform many Republicans say will reduce waste and fraud.
We're not cutting Medicaid. Stop buying that.
This bill just takes money out of the system. It just makes cuts.
Washington's Hospital Association says the truth is hospitals and healthcare providers stand to lose millions every year.
And at the moment, our best guess, which we actually think is kind of low, is about $700 million.
A big chunk of that could come from what WSHA says is a proposed 10% cut to any state, giving Medicaid coverage to undocumented immigrants.
Essentially a penalty for a policy choice.
The association estimates that alone could equal a $400 to $500 million loss every year.
It's substantial.
President and CEO Cassie Sauer says Eastern Washington could be hit hard, especially in its rural communities with more Medicaid recipients than on the west side.
It is not outside the realm of possibility to see a whole hospital closure or a really significant shrinking.
She points to King County's Valley Medical Center, which closed a handful of clinics and laid off employees. It's a roadmap other hospitals may take, WSHA says, to make up those monetary losses, slashing services like physical therapy, labor and delivery, or mental health care. They say will have a ripple effect on virtually every Washingtonian.
If you take any of those beds out of the system, you're squeezing it for the entire state.
If you lose the hospital, you kill the town. Businesses will not locate there. If you have 100 miles to drive for healthcare, people don't live there.
Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
We are just getting started tonight at 5.
We always tell people, if you see something, say something. Don't be afraid to flag us down if you see something that bothers you.
The ball is rolling on new plans for a zip line here in downtown Spokane. We tell you what the next steps look like before this idea becomes a reality.